Unbelievable series out of you, especially a statement versus OpTic Texas. I know that felt amazing. So I want to know what the solo work has been like for you. What have you been doing differently in or out of the game to try and work on these next coming weeks into Major 1?
Yeah, I think me is just like focusing on myself a lot of the time. I like to focus on the teamwork, but I think the thing with me is just like overcompensating or just trying to do too much for the team when I can just like focus on my gameplay and trust my teammates.
Exactly what I
said.
That's
just something we're building right now, just trust, because we all are really new teammates.
Nah, this watch my podcast, bro.
Watching my arrow more than the team, and
this watch my podcast. That's literally what I said.
Well, production just told me in my ear that I can officially announce you are our scuffed player of the game.
This straight heard my podcast. I swear to God.
You were snapping tonight. Well. Bonjour. Yo, guys. What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Borito Talk podcast. I am your host, Borito, the #1 CDL ESPN analyst / content creator in the world. And Kenny's biggest op. No, I'm kidding. But we're back again with a nice little cute episode. Nothing too crazy. I've been recording a lot lately. Just going to do my due diligence and go through the 8 matches of the weekend. Only 8 matches for the weekend. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine back in the day we used to have 8 matches on a day? And now, you know, I'm just trying to keep like the gimmick going of, everyone, oh, you remember back in my day? That type of stuff. Anyways, now that you're done laughing at my jokes, follow the show on Spotify. Really help me out. Follow the show on Apple Podcasts. Stream and download on those platforms. Really helps me out a lot. It's completely free. And if you want, just leave a rating. That would actually go a long way in helping people discover the podcast, helping me grow. If I grow, you grow. And the guests get bigger and all that good stuff, etc. But yeah, let's get into these matches. Let's get into the matches. And I'm starting off with the first match of Friday, which is going to be quick. Like, this can be a pretty quick episode. I know the gimmick for the past year and some change has been, it's going to be a short episode, and then it goes an hour. This actually might be a quick one. May talk about the big series a little bit more. Got some hot takes to give. But all these other series, an anomaly of a weekend, okay? An anomaly of a weekend. We saw a lot of quote-unquote upsets, but, it's major qualifiers. The game's fairly new. We're like 2 months in. We're going to see how much the game evolves from now and even like another month or 2 from now. You're going to see a completely different game. You're going to see new maps. Colossus is not going to be there. Blackheart's probably not going to be there. Scars and D's probably not going to be there. There's going to be some maps that are not there for sure. Definitely going to be seeing Utopia, Meltdown in, I would assume. And maybe Fringe. I don't know. I mean, I don't really like the map as much as everyone else does, but if everyone else likes it, I mean, it's way better than Colossus, so why not? But I don't really like it. Anyways, Miami beats Vancouver 3-0. A very routine win. This is what we expect from Miami. They're 3-3 in the qualifiers right now, which they trolled some games. So they're going to be thinking they're pretty disappointed. They got one more game left. Who's their last game against? Because they're going to need this win in order to make the winner's bracket. Their last game is against Paris. Oh, we. Oh, no. That's not a good one. Miami's probably going to start in losers. That's going to be pretty tough for them. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be pretty tough if they start in losers. Let me take a look at the standings. I'm taking a look at the standings early. So right now, I think G2 played less games. I mean, they don't even have the... Okay, here we go. So Miami's 3-3, Boston's 3-3, Minnesota's 2-4 with 1 game left. So who's Minnesota's last game against? Minnesota plays Koi. Oh my God, they all just have hard games. That one's possible though. That one is very slightly possible. I don't know how possible. It's all going to come down to map wins. I think Miami needs to at most win one map, because who knows if G2 is going to win 2 maps against Koi, which would put them at 15 map wins and 15 game losses, but they're definitely going to lose some maps to Koi. So if Miami just wins maps, they'll beat Minnesota on tiebreaker off that. And then all comes down to Boston. Who's Boston's last game against? I feel like I should know this because we're going to get into Boston later. Boston's last game is against LAT. Everybody down here, it's crazy. Everyone in like the bottom has a hard game for their last game. Miami, Boston, and Minnesota all play like the top 4 teams. It's actually insane. LAT, Paris, and Koi. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Or top 5, whichever one. So I would assume, I think it's more likely for Boston to take maps off of LAT, to be honest, but Boston has not been playing good. I would say Miami probably just squeaks in the 8th spot, which means they're going to be facing like the 1st seed, which could be OpTic, could be FaZe, which is actually a very interesting game. This gets very interesting, actually. I'm not going to lie. And LAT got 2 more games. Paris got 2 more games. So many teams got 2 more games. Everyone in the bottom half has like 1 more game left. G2 Minnesota, Cloud9, Vancouver, Boston all only have 1 game left. And everyone up top has pretty much multiple games left except for OpTic, FaZe, and Riyadh. But Koi got 2 games. Paris got 2 games. LAT got 2 games. Carolina got 2 games. So very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So I think Miami's just going to edge it out. I think we might get Boston, G2, Cloud9, and Vancouver in the losers bracket, which is pretty fitting. Carolina able to squeak it out, but Carolina's last game I think is against LAT on Sunday, I'm pretty sure. So LAT at Boston and Carolina, which is interesting. They should be able to at least get one of those, I would hope. Or both, honestly. They should get both, but at least one. Should be able to get one. But you know, I'm so sorry. I just like yawn for some reason. Probably because of the lack of sleep. Who knows? LAT, I mean, like we'll get into them later. So Miami got 1 more game. I think Miami's just going to edge out 8th spot. They actually might go above Carolina because Carolina may lose their last game to LAT and Miami have more map wins. So it might edge them out. But it's a map win percentage and Carolina's at 10-10. So yeah. It could be in their favor actually. So Miami actually might be the 8th seed. Carolina might be locked for 7th. This might be like the exact order it's in, to be honest. I would assume so. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Vancouver 8th, Cloud9 11th, G2 10th, and Boston 9th. Very interesting. But yeah, Vancouver sucks. Vancouver sucks. They're pretty hopeless. I don't know. I gotta stop saying I don't know what their plan is. I don't know what their logic is. For some reason, I just found this out pretty recently. Lunars, for some reason, I could be wrong on this, but this is what the streets are saying. To my knowledge, Lunars is in the bottom, like 3 in the league for hardpoint OBJ per 10. And if I'm going on this right now, and I'm actually looking, like for those of you who are on this with me. So like hardpoint time per 10. Can I go to the bottom? I need to see where Lunars is. He's at 40. Oh, he's in the bottom. Oh my God. He's right beside Hydra and OBJ per 10 at 40. There's nobody. I think Hook's the only one that's lower. And Pred. Oh my God. How can I forget Pred? He's at a 37. Pretty much a 30. He's at 37.94. How could I forget about AG? Not me. My bad. How could I possibly forget? Actually, Hook is actually down here on the leaderboards, I believe. I just can't see him. I'm blind. I actually can't see Hook. There we go. He's at 39. So he is in the bottom 3 for OBJ per 10 in the league, which makes absolutely no sense to me. That is actually probably one of the most mind-blowing stats I've ever seen. I'm not going to lie. That is actually one of the most mind-blowing stats I've ever seen. How is he in the bottom OBJ per 10? He should be near the top. He should be near the top for sure. But he's not. So, like, who's the highest OBJ per 10 on the team? Like, let's actually go see. Let's go see right now. For Vancouver, Hardpoint OBJ per 10. Abe's at a 50. Gwyn is at an 84. Legend, who's not playing anymore, is at a 43. Luna's at a 40. TJ at a 44. That is so backwards. Their team comp makes no sense. Their comms are pretty just like basic, which is a product of not having veteran players on your team. And I don't know what the direction is. Just everything that this organization did for planning for this team just makes no sense. Like, I would make multiple roster changes after this stage is over. I'm not even kidding. I'd make multiple changes. And also, talking about TJ, I love TJ. I'm sure he's a great guy. But it just feels to me like TJ, and I mean, I have no problems with it. I'm just calling it out. I got no problems with it. I'm not even insulting him for like saying this at all. He's just collecting a paycheck, and he's just happy collecting a paycheck. He's just coasting. Challengers is challengers. I mean, like, you're not getting paid anything. I think it's like 100 like to 200 a month. Like, for challengers, you're pretty much playing for the love of the game, like, to get picked up. Obviously, TJ been a pro for years and years, has lots of earnings to be comfortable with. Unfortunately, though, actually, it's not even unfortunate. It's not even unfortunate for him. I was just trying to find a bridging word. He's just collecting a paycheck, and he's just been coasting like pretty much his whole career. I'm sure he would want to get better. I'm sure he wants to get better. He's playing. He's like trying to do good, but he's just there for a check. He accepted this Vancouver Surge offer a little bit too quick. A little bit too quick, and I'm pretty sure it's because it's just a guaranteed salary. You play exactly like you play in Challengers, except you're getting paid a full salary. Even if it's like the minimum, you're getting paid a salary, which is significant to 200. It goes from 200 to like 2,800, or I don't even know. Like, it's a significant difference. So from that perspective, it's a good move for him. But yeah, it's just, I mean, there's no motivation on this team. There's no passion on this team. I think Gwyn and Abe may be the only people that you keep. I'm getting rid of the other people. Like, I need some real winners on this. I need some heavy hitters. I mean, there's not really any winners and challengers, but there's many people you could bring in. I'm sorry. There's so much more. Bro, Johnny, Standy, Gio on this team with Gwyn. Like, your slang increases. I don't know about the objective. That's the thing. Like, we need another AR who's a bit more objective oriented to an extent. That's what we need. We need a little bit more of that. I think Gwyn on an SMG third AR is best, I feel. I need a list of the challengers. So right now we're going to go on the challengers wiki, guys. We're going to go on the challengers. I just need names. That's all I need. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like the dope check, because like sometimes on the dope check there's like awkward pauses for so long, and you're just like, okay, this is kind of like not great audio, but okay. So we got all the players pulled up, and it's a combination of EU and everyone. I'm not picking up Dylan Rex. I'm not picking up Eric Boom. F. Dot, I don't know enough about, so I can't even make that assumption. Niam's an option on Vancouver, though. Like, why would you even go? Why'd you even go when you're good enough to get picked up on the LAT bench? That makes no sense. Like, there's no point in even doing that. Spart is interesting, but for some reason, Spart lately has just been lacking slang power. I don't know if that's just me. He's been lacking slang power. And I was even going to say maybe bring Prolude in with TJ, and you could get like a little bit of a T-Bush reunion, get some chemistry, build the S&D up. But I still think they're going to lack slaying power. This team needs more slaying power that's not Gwyn. Gwyn can't be your only slayer on this team. This team needs more heavy hitters. I think this is something Gwyn's teams have been lacking throughout the years is slaying power. So definitely got to like upgrade that. Prolude. Cobra. I mean, that would require a visa. And Vancouver's in Dallas right now, so that would take extra long. They're not in Canada anymore. Probably Geo, dude. For the ARs, probably Geo, I would say. Geo, I'm not trying to pick up Capsule quite yet, but maybe you might have to, but I don't know. I don't really want to. I'm not going to lie. I would not pick up Capsule. We need... Geo's a lock. Actually might consider Brack. I may consider Brack. But I'm not quite sure about that. I want to give Fire 40 a chance too. But would he take it? I mean, I'm sure he probably would. I think Johnny for sure is like a lock. Johnny and Stanley, but they're both SMGs. But that works good because Gwyn's on an AR, but I want to keep Abe though. I'm pretty high on Abe for like the future, but that means I'd have to pick between Diamond Con. I mean, Johnny, Stanley, and Diamond Con are all in the same team, so that's like good chem if you bring in two of them. That could work. That could actually work. So I've come to my conclusion. Johnny. That's if another team does not try to go for him first. I feel like Boston should be looking. Boston for sure. G2 Minnesota. I was trying to figure out who the other SMG is. It's Estriel. I would, but like I know like they're not going to. So I'm going to leave that one. Cloud9 should be looking as well. But right now we're just talking about Vancouver, so I'm going to just bring that up. I think Johnny and Standy are pretty much like hand in hand for who should be going to get picked up. I feel like a team of Gwyn, Abe, Johnny, like to get some damn kills, get some more kills. Like he's a kill demon. He's like his statistics in challengers are pretty crazy, and the amount of damage that he puts up is actually insane. So I think he'd be great. Help Gwyn get some kills, alleviate some pressure on the damn map. And then you need more of an AR that could soak and be happy with it. I'm not sure that Gio, because he's also a kill whore. So that's tough. I would even like honestly think of just doing a O Johnny and Diamond Con duo. Honestly. A Diamond Con O Johnny duo with Gwyn and Abe. I think that could work. You know, something like that could work. If you gave me another 4 days to just watch ARs in challengers, if I could watch ARs all day, like if I didn't have to go to my full-time job and I could just watch challengers all day, like go back on VOD, I'd be able to answer all these questions. But yeah, I would 100% make a two-man change after this stage is over. Like this team is hopeless. You got people that are just not trying to win. And yeah, I would just get rid of this team. Not surprised by them getting 3-0. I mean, it is what it is. There's a terrible team. Honestly, like pretty terrible everything, honestly. And then we're going to go to the upset of Friday. And it was Riyadh Falcons 3, Paris 1. A 250-55 exposure hardpoint win for Paris. And then Falcons swept the next 3, 6-4 Raid, 2-1 Den, 250-231 Blackheart. Paris absolutely schemed. Falcons with a great strat on Overload. Everyone's already talked about it. Why do you need to hear me talk about it again? I have no qualms. Like, so let's say that they did that strat where they took the EMP and they sat back Dojo. Like, not back Dojo, but the back spawn of like Dojo. We could call that conference or pillars. Let's say they did that and it didn't work. I would still commend them for a bold try. Like a bold try to do something. Because from that perspective, that back spawn with the pillars and the desk, that is That's probably the only map in this game where you could actually camp back spawn on Overload and be completely comfortable with it. It's legit the only map it's the legit only place on the map in Overload out of the 3 maps that we're playing that you could actually do it on. And they somehow got that side. It was perfect timing. They made the play call. They chose to do it, and they did it. And you also have to take into account every kill that they get on Paris. Paris isn't spawning close because Falcons does have map control. Paris is spawning all the way back at their base. So if Paris die, it's another like 10 to 12 seconds before they even get in the fight again. And they're not getting right into a fight, so it's another like 15 seconds after every death. So that 2 minutes is actually like 3-4 attempts, but sometimes the fights could take a little bit longer, so it's probably like 2-3 attempts. And that's pretty easy, and you could get some kills and like push up a bit and stagger their pushes a bit, relieve some pressure, relieve some map control. And let's say Paris were to get the kill on the EMP in the back of the map. Depending what side Paris is blocking, let's say they're blocking the dojo side, then Falcons is going to spawn on the computer side or like the server side or the B, I think it's like the B spawn side, they would spawn on that side. And if they were on dojo side, and if Paris was on the P4 side, they would spawn on the dojo side. So either way, they're spawning close. And if, let's say, Paris is blocking both, then I think Falcons would spawn like bottom labs. So yeah, that's great. That is absolutely great. It was a great strat out of them, and it worked. From the perspective of Paris, I made a tweet. So let's go to my tweet. I said, I know it's early, but to me it feels like Neptune is the only one that plays like the Rents do all the time, no matter who he's playing. Feels like the others have that tendency to sort of let off the gas pedal when they play lesser opposition, and before you have a chance to regain, the momentum is too far on the other side. It feels too much overconfidence too soon. They should be queuing up against every team like they're playing LET and making statements, being feared by everyone. Gotta build the good habits and not let things slip. 2 games in a row, it just feels very sloppy. Unless you're Cold War phase where you are so far ahead of everyone, multiple championships, deep in a season, having a fun trolley game against Paris Legion, you should be locked in all the time. They all have a lot to prove to everybody. Example, the ones who dropped them. They haven't won anything yet. Losses happen in qualifiers, bad games happen, but that game just seemed, I don't know. That was me not trying to say too much of a roast. To be frank, Darius Indiana Overload has not been the greatest either. Big exciting match against Koi next weekend. So that's what I said on January 16th. And they're going to face Koi on Friday. It's going to be pretty interesting. I just feel like Paris let their foot off the gas pedal. I think they won the first map. And, you know, they kind of got a bit loose. Like, man, that was easy. We're just going to go into this raid. And we're going to try to skill diff them. But it was only Dante sniping. That was pretty much the only highlight the whole game. Everyone else was kind of playing a bit trolly. Even Dante trolling like the one round. And then the Den. I kind of commend the way that Falcons is playing like their 10 overloads right now. They have a very Jose Mourinho defensive style to their overload where they're not forcing an overload score. They're pretty much focusing on kills and focusing on making sure that they're secure before they make any advances on the map. They pretty much prioritize defense and not getting scored on first, and then they worry about everything else second. Even whenever they go to score, it's very gradual. They're not rushing. They're trying not to let the game get too open. They're playing a very defensive, conservative style, and it's actually working, and now we're seeing a lot more teams do it, which makes me believe everyone's just starting to copy everyone, which, I mean, it's not bad. And they have a 4-2 overload record, which is good compared to pretty much like a lot of the other teams. A lot of the other teams are either even or negative. So they're on the higher end of league when it comes to overload. I keep wanting to say overlord because like I know it's a word, but overload is tweaking me out. So they have a very like conservative defensive style. Every den that they've won has been like 2-1. Like, just very low scoring games. And I think that's something a lot of the lower teams are starting to do, is not let the games get too out of hand, not let the games get too open. And they want to play a slower game that makes the other team really have to break them down in order to score. And to be honest, Paris could have won the Den Overload. It was tied 1-1, and it was like a minute left in the first half, and Envoy was about to score, and Dante off spawn went mid and threw a nade over and naded Envoy before he could dolphin dive in the point. Whether or not you maybe thought Envoy was going to die to MC, who was like right in front of him, I thought he was going to score. Because I'm thinking, if you're in the middle of a dolphin dive and you're pretty much right beside like the overload point and you die, the EMP is going to fall in and is going to count. Like, your body doesn't have to drag it in. If you're close enough and it drops there, it will go in, I'm pretty sure. So they could have had a lead going into the second half, which could have made Falcons play a lot different. But having the tied game, and then they slowly worked to one side and they're able to get that point, and they're just playing kills. They're very hard to break down. Paris was trying on either side to break down. They just couldn't break down. Falcons were just playing very good defense all the time, being very annoying. And then like the Blackheart, Paris had a pretty good lead. Things got trolly. They're just a trolly map, a very, very trolly map. And I know I talked about not liking Blackheart, and I know a lot of people don't like Blackheart, but something I really do like about Blackheart is how much teamwork it requires. Obviously, like the P1 hills cheese. A lot of hills are cheese, honestly, because it's like pretty direct and not in the favor of the person that has to break the hills. Like, a lot of these hills are like pretty hard to break because there's not enough space on the map. It's like pretty closed down, but the map really does require paramount teamwork and communication. If you miss one comm or you read the wrong pressure for 2 seconds, your team gets punished and everything could go awry. It is a map that requires probably like the most brain power, which is hard to believe, but it requires the most brain power because you really need to be on your toes all the time. If you let one gap open for 1 second and slip, you could cost your team a whole hill, whole rotation. If you're not reading the pressure like Dante on a P1 going into P2, your team can get flooded on the other side of the map and you look useless and you completely lost them another hill. So it's a map that requires a lot of thinking, and I actually do appreciate it for that, I'm not going to lie. So I think it's a good win from Falcons. Their wins have not been convincing. I'm not in the same train as everyone else. Everyone else is like, oh my God, they're a top team. 3 out of 4 of their wins, because I think 1 is against Vancouver, if I stand corrected. Let me check real quick. Okay, it was Carolina back when they had Slasher right before the Christmas break. Okay, so they start off 0-2, OpTic and LAT, very tough schedule. And then they beat the old Carolina, which is a free win. The win against Boston super trolled, and then Minnesota trolled, and then Paris trolled. So it is a lot of trolly wins, but you can't fault them for winning because you do have to win. But this may create some false hope, or at the same time also create confidence for them as well. AG slang once again. AG is very interesting. I also have another tweet about him too. I have another tweet about AG. Where is it? Okay, here it is. I said, if Pred could actually be a team player for a full 10 minutes of hardpoint, then Falcons will actually be significantly better. In the first map, the second Paris flipped him to the back of P3 and got P4. He just went straight into KD preservation mode for the rest of the map, which actually is true. If you guys watch that first map back, you can see it right away. Even though Blackheart is a trolling map, you can see glimpses of what happens when he actually plays in sync with the rest of the team. He spends maps sometimes going back and forth from bad habits to good habits. So, yeah, that's my tweet about AG. That got 8.9 views. I already know AG probably saw that then. Okay. Okay. Yeah, but Falcons, good win from them. But, you know, a lot of their wins have been very sloppy. They haven't had a convincing win except against Carolina. But it's no fault of their own. They're getting wins. They're first in the standings right now. That's all that matters. They're just getting points towards champs. So, like, what does it matter? But it does matter because it could give you, like, a false sense of where you're at instead of what you need to work on. So that's the only thing I worry about. Hopefully they're very self-aware and realize that they still got a lot of work to do. But it's very positive out of them. I'm still in the camp of a roster change, probably like for Kismet at some point. But Kismet brings so much to like the team that the scoreboard like does not show. And I think that's also very important as well. Very, very important, especially with Pred and MCC on your team. You kind of need Kismet. So they're probably just going to keep this team, to be honest. So, and Exit's been playing better. He's very passionate. I mean, there's just a lot of things going in the right direction. Pred does need to like not cost as much. Like that exposure probably could add a completely different scoreline if he was locked in the whole time. I think he just gave up early, and he has those bad habits where he could turn a hard point into a 3v4 in a disadvantage for his team, where he could pretty much be going rogue, doing his own thing, and his team is working twice as hard to try to make stuff happen. So definitely something he needs to work on. We have Miami against Boston. 3-1 Miami as I take a sip of my water. Miami won 250 to 248 on the Scar hardpoint. That was a completely disappointing map from the perspective of Boston. They had such a big lead, and I thought they won. I thought they won to the point where I was cleaning the inside of my PC at this time. I was watching the game on my iPad, and Boston was pretty much near the win, and I kind of stopped paying attention, and then I felt like I blinked, and I looked back, and Miami was like right there, tied game, P3, watching Boston give up the plane heady, just completely trolling. And then, like, they lost the map. I'm just like, I can't even believe this. I just, like, of course, Boston's trolling. Of course. And then Boston wins 6-4 Scar S&D. Don't know why Miami's playing that map. You're not that good at it. Just leave the map be. It's a pretty fluky map. Play anything else. I know Boston's a good S&D team, but, man, that map is just complete buns. Miami won 3-1 Den. Boston's overload. I mean, I know Snoopy's like a very good overload player, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I even watched that map. I swear to God, I probably didn't even watch that map. I actually feel like that map just like went right by. I was really deep into cleaning my PC. I should probably go back and do my due diligence and watch that map, but I'm pretty sure I'm probably not going to learn anything. But I actually do have to watch Miami play that map. I actually really do. I'm going to go back and watch that right after this podcast. And then 250 to 176 Blackheart hardpoint, and Miami's got a lot of reps on it, and they're just clearly like the better team. Boston got to go back to boot camp. Cammy with a 0.6 this series of 50. He went 58 and 94 in this series. Just absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And so this is the problem I had like with Boston, okay? This is the problem I had with Boston. And I know that they won their next game against Cloud9. Boo-hoo, great win. I mean, it's Cloud9. Like, they're in the bottom two of the league. You need some more Slayers on this team, okay? This Boston team has two people that could get some kills, and it's Nasty and it's Snoopy. It's never both of them at the same time. It's either or, which is actually incredible. Cammy and Purge just aren't natural born Slayers, and it's very cute that they like having a team, you know, plays for the win. You could have people that could get kills and play for the win, and that's ridiculous out of Nasty for saying that, because it honestly felt like he was slighting his old team. Like, that's honestly what it felt. It's almost like it felt like he was saying, like he did that interview in the offseason, like, I finally have people playing for the win. I was like, dude, what are you on about? What are you on about? We're seeing how far it's actually getting you right now. It's not getting you that far. But Boston actually trolled like a couple of games too, so they probably could have been like damn near 5-1, to be honest. So they're probably gonna feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities, to be honest. If I go on a Boston's matches, they probably would have thought it would beat the Falcons, and they should have beat Vancouver. They should have beat Miami. Like, they should probably be undefeated right now. Like, honestly. In their mind, they're probably thinking, man, like, we're trolling. We're trolling. But take a look at, like, the Slayer ratings. Nasty 92, Snoopy 94, Purge 90 or 79, and Cammy 81. Nasty, Snoopy, the only one's positive. Purge has a 0.84. Cammy has a 0.92. Tells you everything you need to know. those are pretty much the two guys that need to be gone. Those are the two guys that need to be gone. And even if I take a look at OBJ per 10, I mean, Cammy's got a pretty good OBJ per 10, which is great and all, but Purge does not. Purge has lower than Snoopy, and he's dropping way less kills, which makes no sense. You might as well just get a Johnny or a Standy at that point, but they're not going to because it's a friendship team. But yeah, Boston definitely has a lot of work to do. Another good win for Miami to get back on the board even. They were 1-3. They were 1-3 going into this weekend, which is crazy. And then they got like 2 wins. Now they're back to 3-3. So great out of them. They got a hard match for their last match against Paris. Probably not going to win it. They're probably going to be kicking themselves. Probably thinking we should have won at least one more of these that we lost. Unfortunate. But I think they're just going to edge out the winner's bracket just off of like map win percentage cheese. They need to take a map or two off of Paris. If they can force Paris to at least a game 5, I think they're going to be good. They obviously have to depend on some other top teams to beat Boston, like LAT. But I think LAT could do that, especially with how Boston's playing. Boston's not playing anywhere near good. I know Boston has been LAT's kryptonite in recent history, but I don't see it happening, okay? Don't see it happening. Up next, we got Koi, Carolina. Carolina beats Koi 3-1. I did not have this on my banger card at all. 250 to 159. Dan Harpoint win from Koi, first map. Joe had, how much did he have? He had 156 seconds in the hill. Carolina had 159 seconds overall time. So he pretty much had individually the same score as Carolina's total points. And he dropped 30 and 18 that first map. Like, this guy's literally doing everything. He had 105 kills in this series. No one else even near him. He was frying these bums, but he had no help. And this is exactly what I talk about, guys. This is literally what I talk about. Carolina obviously playing a lot better. If you're from the POV of Koi, why would you let Scar overload in there? I don't understand. Even if we're taking a look at the map vetoes, who picked it? I mean, it's not even like showing. It's like actually like blurry. I don't know. Okay, there we go. So Carolina banned exposure overload, which is smart. Why not just play Den? If you're Koi, why are you picking Scar? That's like every bad team's even keel map to like make the games even. Why would you even do that? Like, why? Like, just like don't do that. Play him on Den. Play him on the square up map and beat him. As simple as that. As simple as that. And then Carolina won 6-5 in like the Den S&D. That was a pretty back and forth game. They made the play call final round, a run down middle. Joe once again went 12-8 on that map. Had no help except for Real. I mean, he just had no help overall. And then like the Blackheart, Carolina is just great. Their communication is actually great. Exceed, man. Let me talk about Exceed real quick, okay? Let me talk about Exceed. Not going to say I told you so. And I mean, it's early, but they did get 3 wins on the spin, which is great. Absolutely great. But what did I tell you guys? Everybody, for some reason, the PR in the Call of Duty community is absolutely insane. If you do like one thing wrong, if you have one banana slip up, you're just crucified forever. He was on LAG and MW2. Guys, LAG was pretty much like Orgless, as I have a YouTube video finishing rendering. Thank you for that sound. LAG and MW2 was pretty much Orgless. They had nobody except the coach and the players. It was like a ghost town. They had like almost like no support. That year was chalked. It was already compromised. They tried their best. Like no resources, just trying to figure it out. It was not good. And for some reason, everyone's just judging him on that year. Burger King. That was a terrible environment. There's a lot of players that would not last in that environment as well. Joe Deceives was on that team. Joe Deceives didn't last. Look what Joe's doing right now in the league. Joe's undeniable. Joe's an S-tier player because he got another chance. Exceed did not get another chance. Okay? Exceed did not get another chance. And I know he was in the league in like MW19. That whole year like just doesn't count for me. Honestly, that year just does not count for me. But ever since that bad stigma in MW2, he never got another chance. He clawed, he scratched challengers, MW3, Black Ops 6. Here we are, Black Ops 7. He's back. And he's proving why he should be a staple in the league. He's a very smart player, guys. He's a very smart player, and he's a very mature player. He's a very hardened player. He could take criticism. He could dish criticism. He's very passionate. He always brings stuff up in scrims. And that's something a lot of players don't do, guys. A lot of players do not like talking about like what's going wrong in scrims, etc., etc. He's a very passionate player that wants to get better all the time. And it shows. And now he's like an IGL for like this team of like young guns. And I've been screaming from the mountaintops for Exceed to get back in the league. Everyone's calling me idiot, etc., etc. Now we're seeing how right the number one CDL ESPN analyst is, because, I don't look at things the same way as everyone else. Everyone uses recency bias, very illogical, very irrational opinions, not very thought-provoked opinions from like a lot of people. I really watched them. Like, I would not be watching all of his scrims in Black Ops 6 and constantly saying he needs to get picked up if I didn't actually think he would do good. Like, I'm not even friends with him. I've never talked to him. Like, I have no reason to gas him up the way I've been gassing him up. But I have, because I could just see it. I'm trying to see what other people are not seeing. And another good series out of Exceed. Another good series. And 3 on the spin for Carolina. Imagine if they had them like before at the beginning of the season. They probably could have avoided like some wins. I mean, they probably could have avoided some losses. They probably could have beat Falcons, maybe beat Boston earlier. They probably could have been like 5-0 right now. They had a very good schedule. They had strength of schedule, I can tell you that. They had a pretty good schedule. They had Boston, Falcons, Miami, G2, Minnesota. Like, those are good games if you're like on the lower half of the league. But now they got Koi and LET for like the last 2 games, because you can't avoid the top 5 teams forever. So, yeah, I mean, great wins out of them. I think they pretty much secure the winner's bracket with this 3rd win. This Koi win is a very big win, but obviously they're going to try to win like the last one against LET as well, which would be a pretty good win. That would put them way higher up in the standings and secure the winner's bracket. Especially if you're on these lower teams, it's very important to get a lot of wins early, because you never know what's going to happen later in the year. So you could secure champs early. And, everyone wants to make champs. That's where, like, the big payouts are. Everyone in the top 8 is guaranteed payments. So that's what you want to work for. And if you make champs, you pretty much also qualify for EWC. But I think all the teams are qualified for EWC anyway. But it'll go towards the seedings. So getting as much wins as you can as early as possible is very important. And especially starting in the winner's bracket, because if you start in the winner's bracket and you get 1 win, you get way more points, as opposed to starting in the losers. You have to get like 2-3 wins. You have to get like 3 wins in order to equal 1 win in the winner's bracket. So it's way different in that. But from the perspective of Koi, I would call this an embarrassing loss. I was worried about this. I also talked about this too. Insight was playing good, and then just randomly against a lot lesser of opposition. He was playing great against LET, but obviously every matchup's different. But this is what you could get from Insight, is just low interaction, low kills, and not helping. And this is what you could get. And they got it. So, yeah, I mean, Joe is just doing it every game, dude. I said before that Neum would be the perfect person in place of Insight, but no one wanted to listen to me. Maybe if LAT does good at the major and Neum's out of contract over there, Koi could pick him up, because that'd be another good pickup. Like, he slots in Insight's role perfectly. They need a slower AR to play the hill more, but Neum's also a kill whore at the same time. So I think he could slot right into that system. And he's also good at S&D. Slots right in there. It's great. It all works out. It all works out. So yeah, bad loss for Koi, good win for Carolina. We got FaZe They 3-0'd Cloud9. Not going to talk too much about this series. And it's actually so funny. Like, so something I want to talk about, but I'm not sure if I should talk about it when we get to like the FaZe Vegas and Minnesota. I'll probably actually save it for then because we're about to get to the final 3 games. As I swear we're actually reaching the hour mark. We're at pretty much 45 minutes, which is crazy. I'm just a professional yapper. I'm actually a professional yapper. It's actually insane. I'm a professional yapper. But FaZe won 250 to 128 on the exposure hard point. 6-2 Colossus S&D and an 8-1 exposure. Like, they hit the score limit. Oh, man. Cloud9 banned Blackheart hard point. And FaZe banned Scar hard point. Which is pretty much one of the only maps that Cloud9 could actually play. So fair play out of them. I don't know what I just coughed up. Oh, my God. Oh. Just coughed up something. I'm so sorry for that bad audio. Gosh, where was I? That was terrible audio. My bad. Cloud9, not good at all. But we're going to get to the next series. We're going to get to the next series, and then we're going to talk about FaZe in the G2 Minnesota. So we're going to save those. But yeah, pretty much just smoked them 3-0. There's nothing to see here. This is the last match of the Saturday. Just a nice quick time respecter for all of us. Twin putting up a great performance, a 1.69 out of 04. Great stuff. Just noob slang. No one from Cloud9 actually did anything, so that's cool. And then, yeah, can't wait to show you guys this product, unless you already knew about it. But this episode of the Borito Talk podcast is sponsored by Blacklight, redefining comfort and performance where work meets play. Blacklight makes the best premier ergonomic gaming chairs and desks in the gaming space and are partnered with some of the biggest brands and teams such as the Blast Premier for Counter-Strike, Team Spirit, Team Liquid, Fnatic, Toronto Koi, Toronto Raptors, and even Epic Games Fortnite Championship Series. Blacklight gaming chairs are engineered for peak performance and comfort. They blend ergonomic support with premium materials to keep you focused for hours. They feature adjustable lumbar support, 4D armrests, a high-density foam seat. It adapts perfectly to your body and playstyle. Whether you're grinding rank matches or working long hours, this chair delivers unmatched durability, breathability, and all-day comfort, your ultimate throne for victory. Alright, so for those of you on video as well, I mean, like, let's take a look at the cable management tray. It's a heavy-duty cable management tray, too. Look how clean under your desk could be, and it holds the wires with absolutely no fuss. Also has an adjustable desk with 4 presets already there. You can edit them yourselves as well, which is incredible. So let's say you've been sitting down all day, you want to get the blood flowing, you could stand up at the click of a button, sit down again at the click of a button, no fuss at all. And I know a lot of ads don't really talk about the price, but let's talk about it. I would look at this as an investment in the overall well-being of your body, the same way you would invest extra in a bed so you don't wake up every day with aches and sores. If you use your desk every day, you use your chair every day, you're going to sit down the first day and be like, yep, I made such a great decision. You're going to be so comfy. And I mean, it's scientifically engineered to make your day as comfortable as possible. So I mean, go Blacklight. All that being said, just to say, I have a little bit of a code for you, a little 15% off code for you. It is BORI70 Burrito at checkout for 15% off. BORI70, not case sensitive. Enter it whatever way you want. Everything uppercase, everything lowercase, whatever what you want. BORI70 for 15% off at Blacklight. And if they have any sales, it's an extra 15% off of whatever they have on sale. So I mean, take advantage, level up your game, feel better every day when you go on your setup, and go Blacklight. Now back to the podcast.
Oh yeah, this is the one I'm winning in. I had to pick between this chair and my girlfriend. I picked this chair every time.
So now we're getting into the Sunday matches where Boston Breach beat Cloud9 3-2. And something I will say it's impressive about Cloud9 is they're 1-5 right now, but so many of the losses are close games that they should have won. Like, they could have beat Paris. You could argue maybe not get 0-2 comeback against Boston. Like, that's 2 wins. I'll put you at 3-3. Who else did they play? They probably should have beat. So, like, they beat Vancouver. They lost to G2 Minnesota as well. They lost to Miami 3-2. They lost to Paris 3-2. Like, the FaZe Vegas one was actually a beatdown, so that's whatever. They potentially could have been 3-3 right now if they didn't troll. And they don't even have the updated freak coach's name on there, which is actually insane. And, yeah, so Cloud9. The thing about Cloud9, okay? I say a lot about Cloud9, okay? I can actually say a lot. Beans is playing way better than I thought, but it's not good enough still. But he is playing better than I thought he would. I thought he was going to get completely smacked. I mean, they are getting smacked, but he's not getting completely smacked. He's still putting up high damage in pretty much every series that he plays. I'm still not a fan. I'm not a fan anymore. Like, I revoked my Beans. I revoked my Beans membership after last year. That was the last straw for me. If you couldn't perform in that Ultra team, that was the last straw for me, okay? That was the last straw for me. The last straw for me. For me personally. Something else I want to talk about when it comes to Cloud9 is how just inconsistent everybody is. They do not have enough slang, and it shows. It's actually really, really, really bad. Really, really, really bad, okay? It's really, really bad. Like Mac, I'm very high on Mac. I like Mac a lot, but Mac hasn't even had a positive series this whole season. They played 6 games. He had 1 positive series, and it was a 1.0. And guess who it was against? Vancouver. Whoa. Shocker, right? Every other series, not playing up to the levels that he should be. He was a part of the troll in the Paris game. Vivid, not a slayer at all. They have a complete lack of kills. If it's not Afro, and I guess Beans sometimes, but honestly, mostly Afro. If it's not up to Afro to have a takeover series, I don't know what's going on. It just seems hopeless. And it's like they're playing, it feels like they're playing like the game good, but at the same time, they're not. It's very back and forth. They go very back and forth. Like there's promise there, but there's not. It's like really bad from them. I was never convinced by this team at all. I literally saw the team get put together. I was like, Mac and Vivid, I mean, I don't care what they did in Challengers. That just does not convince me at the highest level. That does not convince me. Reese on an AR is just not for me. Okay, it's just not for me. If he's not an SMG, I don't want it. Okay, if Reese isn't on an SMG, I don't want to see it. And I don't want to see it. And I'm done seeing it. He's just not inspiring as an AR. He's just not. He's just absolutely not. And it's just like, does not work for me. Does not work for me. Mac needs to play way better. I know we're only in the first stage. Anything can happen in the freaking second stage. But you can't be a team starting off 1-5 while everyone else is getting ahead of you. You just can't. You just can't. It's just not good. So if we take a look, I'm really a fiend for OBJ Pretends because I want to see who's really soaking the hill, and no one's really actually soaking the hill. They're all at a 53, 52, 50, 56. Not good. Not good. They don't really have any objective players. They don't really have any kills either. So if you don't have no objective players and like you have no kills, I don't understand at all. I don't understand what the point of anything is on this team. It's a team that's not really going to get anywhere. If Mac plays better, it could open doors, but Reese there as the AR is just not convincing, bro. Just get an AR that could get some damn kills, dude. Get an AR who could drop over a 1.0. That would really change the trajectory of this team a lot. And they need a scam less. This team has no mental fortitude at all. Everyone on this team is breakers. I don't care what Mac and Vivid did on Challengers Champs. Challengers Champs is freaking beneath them. It's beneath them, okay? It's Challengers Champs. Like to them, that's nothing. Like, they think they should be pro players. Okay, but once you're pro players, what are you doing now? And at the pro level, a lot of them are breakers. They break a lot. I'm not talking about Afro. I'm talking about the other three. But Afro is just guilty by association. It's not working for me, Cloud9. It's not working for me. And from the perspective of Boston, why are you going down 2-0 to Cloud9 in the first place? But you got the comeback. That's all that matters. You could not have lost this game. Boston could not have went 2-4. That was not good, especially with the last game being LAT. They could have went 2-5 and been auto losers bracket. This win kept them afloat to have contention to being in the winners bracket. So this is good from Boston. A 250-105 Colossus win from them. 6-0 exposure last map from them, and a 4-3 Scar overload. I really want to see what the map vetoes were. So Cloud9 does not like playing Blackheart. I don't know why. They just don't like playing it. Okay. And then Boston banned Dan. Cloud9 picked Colossus and then just got absolutely mollywopped on that map. Very curious about that. Going to have to ask about that. And then, yeah, I mean, I haven't really been paying much attention to Cloud9, like to know what maps like they like and they don't like, but I am going to go through that stuff probably on stream, just like going through statistics and just deep diving every team. That's definitely something I'm going to be doing on stream. But Cloud9, not convincing at all. They lost 3-2. This was not a surprising win, but Boston definitely needed it to be cleaner, but they got the win. That's all that matters. But Boston needs to play way better because this could have been a 3-0, and who knows what would have happened. This could have been like the beginning of the end for Boston if they lost this series. I'm not even kidding. And Purge with another 0.87. We're not surprised. And yeah, and then you have another 1.34 from Nasty. Cammy played good, but was against Cloud9, so how much stock am I really going to put into that? I mean, who knows? I mean, he pretty much like farmed on like the fourth map where they like basically 100-point clubbed them, and that's pretty much what got his overall KD high. Otherwise, it was not looking good for him at all. But yeah, that's that series, and then we're going to get into G2 Minnesota beating FaZe 3-1. I did not have this in my bingo card, but I will say I'm not surprised, okay? It's a 250-193 Blackheart hardpoint win for FaZe. 6-5 Minnesota raid S&D win for FaZe. FaZe probably thinking they probably should have had that map, but they all played it bad. Except for Abuza. Abuza's the only reason why that map was close. A 2-1 Den overload victory for G2. If you're FaZe, you cannot be losing that, especially to Minnesota, who is having a hard time playing that map. Very bad loss from the perspective of FaZe. And then FaZe. Okay, I understand FaZe. FaZe thinks they're good at Colossus because they played it one time and it was a good time. Okay, I think they played it one time. Like, let's go look. So at Colossus, yeah, they played it one time. I forgot who it was against. It was against it was either against Cloud. No, it was not against Cloud9. I think it was against like OpTic or something. But OpTic doesn't play Colossus. No, I think it was against Paris or LAT. I don't know who it was against. It was actually not against LAT. It was actually probably against Paris, maybe. It's probably against Paris. And they throttled them on that map. Or Koi. Actually, maybe it was Koi. It may have been Koi. But they played the map one time and they thought they were freaking good at the map. And then you're going to go and play the only other team who's actually like really good at that map. It's their only win condition. They will never win a series if Colossus Hardpoint's not in there. And you gave it to them because you played it once and you thought you were good at it. That's bad map vetoes out of FaZe. You cannot do that. Why are you banning Scar Hardpoint? I know Minnesota's pretty good at that map, but you just beat OpTic on that map. You should have some confidence in order to play Minnesota on Scar Hardpoint. Like, get a grip. Play them on that map. That's ridiculous. Why would you give Minnesota Colossus? Makes no sense. And then, like, the Scar S&D last map, they obviously didn't go there, but that's, like, I don't know why FaZe is picking that map either. Like, that's just ridiculous. It's just, like, not good maps to pick. And then you gave them, like, their best S&D as well. So, just like the map vetoes from FaZe. I mean, why would you ban exposure against them? Like, Minnesota's not even a good exposure S&D team. Did you ban it because you're bad at it? Like, who cares? Play them on that map, bro. Play them on that map. Come on. If you're trying to get some map reps in, play exposure S&D. Play exposure S&D. Play Scar Hardpoint. Play something else. Don't play them on their best map. That's ridiculous. So terrible map vetoes out of phase. Pretty much everyone on the team played bad except for Abuza. Abuza was playing like his life was on the line. I'm not even kidding. Not even just from a statistical standpoint, but if you literally watch him in the game, he was frying. He was doing everything. Like this guy was actually him that game, showing what Abuza could actually do. From the perspective of phase, I just want to talk about one thing. How everybody in the COD community has such recency bias. FaZe won like 2 games in a row, and people were talking about how final they are, how scary they look. I was never scared, and I never saw any threat from FaZe on their 2-match win streak against a lackluster OpTic and a Cloud9. That's what everyone got hyped over. That's what everyone got hyped over, is those 2 wins. Everyone except for me, because, you know, I'm logical. I actually really think about things and I see things. When FaZe played OpTic, okay? Like when FaZe played OpTic, and I actually did a very bad job of not going through my tweets as going through the other games. But I'm pretty sure I didn't tweet about anything except for like the FaZe thing, which we're actually going to get into. Okay, I'll actually read my tweet first about FaZe. So I said, FaZe's teamwork actually does look better than last year in terms of if it looks like 4 players actually playing for each other. With that being said, it's still the same inconsistent hardpoint from them. Even against OpTic, they rotated first to only 2 hills. One was just a P3 to P4 chain. But we're lucky enough to break the rest of them. On a normal OpTic day, they win that map. 0-4 actually looks like a star in the making. Decision making in third game mode, just always questionable. I can also understand ego challenging and vetoes for reps, but Colossus hardpoint is the only map G2 can play, and it will most likely be out after stage 1. Just play anything else. Sloppy for FaZe, good for Minnesota. Okay, so something else I want to say about FaZe. So I was already in the middle of it before I like just completely sidetracked. Everyone was saying that they're good from 2 back-to-back wins and saying how final they are, that they're looking like the best team in the game. I'm like, guys, come on, bro. Like, we need to think logically. OpTic has not been playing good recently, and it's Cloud9, okay? It's Cloud9. Everyone's like, the CEO's back, one good series. The CEO's right back to dropping at 0.77, lowest damage in the lobby. You know? Everyone on the other team had 2,000 more than Draza. Like, oh, man, it's not good, man. Not good. Aluka's watching. That's all I got to say. Aluka is watching. Okay, Aluka's watching. But they played OpTic, and their hard point was still the exact same. They beat OpTic in that hard point, but FaZe's hard point was still the exact same. It was literally the same, where they just don't rotate first to any hill, and they depend on breaking, and it just so happened on that day, breaking actually worked. On any other day, if OpTic's locked in, you're not breaking those hills. You pretty much lost every rotation except for a P2 and a P3, P4 chain, which does not count because they didn't even get to the P3 first. They just fortunately broke it, and then they got a chain to P4. So those are the only 2 times they rotated first to a hill against OpTic. OpTic had every hill first, but they just lost them all. And I'm not really going to count P1s, and it is what it is. So FaZe still played like the same way, and then the S&D and the Overload were complete anomalies. It was what it was. I just like saw that as just like a nice win, but wasn't really doing anything for me. I need to see it on a more consistent basis because it still looks very fragile. Like their gameplay still looks very fragile. Very, very fragile. You could see glimpses of great teamwork and this and that, but their overall gameplay always looks very futile. It's like almost the exact same as what we've been seeing for years and years and years now. It's just very inconsistent. Like they'll surprise you and like they'll beat the good teams and like they'll have like those like dominant wins, but then they just get really trolly and fragile and inconsistent again, and that's FaZe. From the G2 perspective, I think this win is just an anomaly. It's false hope, but it's a good win, you know? It's good that you're getting wins. That's all that matters. You're getting wins, you're getting points on the board. You could not go 1-5. That would not be good. You're 2-4 now. That's better. Still probably going to be in the losers bracket, but yeah. And a way better series from Skies. But I mean, I swear freaking FaZe can make anyone look good. It's actually very impressive how FaZe can make anyone look good. But Caesar, it's a good series out of him. So, I mean, I have to commend that. He's up there in the damage. He's up there in the reactions, up there in the kills. Kremp finally had some help. Great out of him. Great out of him. And I am going to go through something on the Colossus like that FaZe did. Like, they just played that map really bad, I thought. I thought they played the map pretty bad. But Colossus is going to be out, so, I mean, there's no point in really analyzing that map too much. But, yeah, FaZe is just very inconsistent. Going to go off what Chris said. They're an end-of-the-year team, sure. They have a lot to work on. They still have a lot to work on. I would not be surprised if they play bad at the Major, and then they just slot a Luka right in. I'm not even kidding. If Druzzle plays bad at the Major and like they go out early, I could guarantee you that a Luka will be in. They have to play good. Same thing with LAT. They both have to play good. Otherwise, their replacements are right there. So the last series of the day, of the weekend actually, LA Thieves against OpTic Texas. It was a 3-1 in favor of LA Thieves. They get a win on the board, which is very impressive out of them. A 250-216 exposure hardpoint win from OpTic. LAT played the first 2 minutes of that hardpoint great, and then crumbled and made some trolls and cost them a lot of points. OpTic bounced back. It was pretty much the Mercury show. Merc pretty much hard carried that first map. He was popping 3 pieces he never should have. He had 4,800 damage in that map number 1. Everyone else on his team had 3,300 or 3,800 for your Dashy. He had a 1.48. Everyone else had a 0.86, 0.91, 0.69 from Dashy. He was the only one doing anything on that map. Okay? And then a 6-1 Scar S&D win from LAT, which is great. Shotzi could not kill Scrap on that map at all. And just very solo pushy from OpTic, but that map is pretty much cheese. Almost feel like they're trying stuff, honestly, or they're just confused on how to play it. But LA Thieves dominated mid-control on that map, and it really helped them. And that was pretty much their strat, pretty much majority of that map. And then they were able to hard counter OpTic on the plane side, some rounds. I mean, I actually didn't really care to watch that map, but I did watch it though. I was watching Shotzi gunned every round by Scrap. Scrap had his number, had him zipped up, as I made in my tweet. And then exposure 5-1 LA Thieves. The first 2 minutes was just an OpTic troll. Shotzi has mid control with the MP. Instead of just pushing up mid to maybe just get the MP out of spawn, he takes it back to his spawn, literally right beside the portal, without map control from anyone else in his team, by the way. And then Scrap just kills him and walks it in. Absolute brain fart out of Shotzi, out of OpTic. And then the MP spawns on the P2 side. LA Thieves already have control, and they run that in, and they're up 2-0 before you could even blink. And the game was pretty much over from there. LA Thieves dominated mid-control with ARs. They had 3 ARs. Freaking Abizu using an AR this whole entire series. I don't think that's sustainable. We're going to get into some of the tweets I made about this series and comment on them. But pretty much pre-aim central. They pretty much pre-aimed them the whole map, and Hydra's just playing freaking pockets on the inside with SMG, roaming. The dynamic worked because it felt like OpTic couldn't do anything. OpTic had no control of the map. And I talk about exposure overload all the time and how you need to dominate mid control. Don't let the other team get past mid, dominate on them, and you could pretty much dictate the whole game. That's what LA Thieves did. They dictated the whole game. OpTic couldn't do anything. A lot of times it felt like the SMGs weren't doing anything, and it felt like Dashy in particular was just spawning into war and just spawning into deaths. No help. No help at all. It felt like the SMGs were just in La La Land, honestly. And then 250-213 Scar hardpoint. I mean, just a back and forth map. OpTic's not the best Scar hardpoint team. They're not really a good Scar team in general, but they let 2 Scars in this series, which makes you want to get to the map vetoes. OpTic picked exposure hardpoint, which they won. Okay. They banned Blackheart. I think they played LAT on the map. Okay. No. So the reason why OpTic bans Blackheart is because Mercules, especially, who's the only person performing on their team, does not like it. So if the only person performing on your team does not like it, like, you're going to ban it. And that's pretty much what they did. But I don't think Dashy also likes it either. But Merc, like, just absolutely hates it. He really doesn't want to play it. So they don't play it. So it's like they're auto ban. And if you have an auto veto, especially against the good teams, like, you end up playing a map you don't like. And that was Scar, which LAT picked, which was a good map pick because they know OpTic is not good at it, and they played him on it. And then LAT banned Den Hardpoint, which is smart against OpTic. They're very good at that. So pretty good map hardpoint vetoes from the perspective of LAT. Pretty bad from OpTic. OpTic's been bad at map vetoes the past like 3-4 games. It's actually impressive. Pretty impressive. And then OpTic banned Colossus S&D. Don't blame them. LAT banned Den S&D. LAT picked Scar S&D, which they won. OpTic picked Raid, which they didn't even make it to. And then for some reason, actually no, not for some reason. It's actually a good reason. OpTic banned Scar Overload, and then LAT picked Exposure. So OpTic just couldn't do anything on the Exposure Overload. I don't know why, but they couldn't. They could not counter like the 3 ARs from LAT and just getting preamed all game. They had no answer to it. I could tell you the answer right now, but I don't want to give OpTic any answers. But try to work mid together. Try to group up and take control of mid. Try to dictate the game back again. Have your guys on the aisles on both sides. Play slower. Get mid control first, and then you can repinch the other sides and gain control of the map slowly. Work the map like that. But instead, it felt like people on different pages in LAT pretty much dominated. Did not give them a chance to breathe. Okay, didn't give them a chance to breathe at all. Okay, pretty much what happened. Now we're going to get into my tweets, okay? Going to get into my tweets and react about it. First tweet, which popped off, by the way, for 43,000 impressions, by the way. Okay. Mercules is literally him. One OpTic, the HP again. On the second P4, when OpTic set up, Hook's on the hill. Merc comes running to the hill and goes, I got hill. Hook says, I got it all good. Merc says, no, I got it. Go help in the back or something. When do we ever see a superstar besides Semper Joe insist on holding a hill by himself when he could have just roamed Slade outside the hill? Bro wants to do it all, whatever it takes for the win. Abizi needs to learn to have the same passion for the OBJ. It would change LAT's world. I mean, I pretty much described everything I said in that tweet. And then I also said, after watching map number 1, dare I say, Kenny is getting set up. And the reason why I thought Kenny was getting set up is because it was very clear to me to see that no one really wanted to play objective on LAT. And a lot of times you could see a Kenny by default is just kind of like, okay, well, I just have to because like Lily Noss is going to. He was still playing his own game. There's a lot of times he was able to roam and be free, but that's when Abizi would get on the hill or like something like that. But Kenny would now take advantage of his things instead of like regressing the hill. He would actually like play middle. I remember there's like the P3 or the P4. It was P4 where him and Hydra were sprinting from P3 to P4 through the middle of the map. And then Hydra kept going and Kenny turned around because he was like, I'm playing mid. I'm playing for kills over here. So he has been playing for himself a lot more, and that's great to see. But the whole dynamic of LAT, I still think is messed up. And then I said, Shotzi went like 0-6 against scrapping gunfights on that Scar S&D, had him zipped up. And then I said, LAT 3AR preem cheesing that map 3. OpTic couldn't adapt. Fair play to LAT. AR dominance and Hydra filling in the pockets causing mayhem. Shotzi pulling a pear stroll from last week, taking the MP in a spawn with no map control, gave away a free point. Pretty much self-explanatory. And then I said, when Abizi realizes he can still be a superstar taking on the main OBJ role like his BFF Joe, LAT might be unstoppable in respawn. I mean, need I say more? And then I replied to this thing today, or yesterday actually, from Ronnie Intel. He said, I'm not even sure much has changed with LAT. They have run OpTic every time we see them scrim. This outcome was what I expected. Next week will be interesting. And then I said, I second this. LAT pretty much still played the exact same way. Only difference was Kenny playing a bit more for him. Good. OpTic just made bad vetoes and played like dummies. Don't think the 3 ARs is going to work consistently versus other teams. Hydra is still a vampire and the hill is garlic. Him and Scrap's playstyle demands so much from the other two in HP, which breeds question marks when the other two aren't naturally those kinds of players. The first minute of the Overload was a serendipitous troll fest, but LAT dominated map control, so that was cool. Overall conclusion of the match is I think Thieves should have won 3-0. The exposure was super great from them, but they made 2 to 3 misplays that I think costed them at least an 180 to 100 point swing. So that's pretty much me summarizing the whole LAT series right there. Okay, pretty much me summarizing. I need to actually start replying to my tweets more. I actually don't reply to people. I just don't even look. I just tweet and I go. Okay, so I still think the LA Thieves dynamic. I'm actually going over an hour. I'm actually impressed. Guys, give me a round of applause, man. I talk every podcast how I'm never hitting the hour mark, and I always hit it. It's actually impressive. It's actually impressive out of me. I don't know how I do it. Actually, I actually do know how I do it. Unbelievable out of me. Unbelievable out of me. I think LA Thieves still plays the exact same. I'm going to upload a YouTube video about it. But you can still see on the map where Hydra just purposely is in the hill and he runs off of it and someone else just has to pick it up. And you can still see he had 9 seconds on the first map. Or was it the first map or the second map? Okay, it was the second map. Or it was it was the fourth map. It was the second hardpoint. He had 9 seconds in the hill. Abizi had 134, which is great. But Hydra needs to be on the hill more. He cannot be like this all year. It's going to be unsustainable unless Abizi fully embraces the role. But Hydra still needs to be able to get on the hill when it's his turn. If it's your turn, please get on the hill. And Kenny's not going to be able to drop 1.33s with 100 in the hill all the time. It's not going to happen. He's going to get slammed sometimes, and someone else is going to have to pick it up and allow him to be a little bit more free. But I don't think LA Thieves has the dynamic and the flexibility for that. And I still think they're going to pay. I still think they're going to pay for it. I really need them to click, okay? Well, actually, I don't need them to click. I don't care. I don't care. It's possible. All comes down to the players. I'm not sure if I need a lecture, if they need to get me in a call with them and really freaking lecture them. They're probably not even going to listen, to be honest. They're going to be like, who's this guy? But this guy knows what he's talking. This guy knows what he's talking about, okay? This guy knows what he's talking about, okay? And LA Thieves need to fix the dynamic. I'm not going to be convinced by this win against a pretty bad OpTic team right now. But it is a good win, like I've been saying in other series. It doesn't change much. You still need to be more consistent. You still have things to work on. But it's a good win. And that's all you could ask for right now. Okay, that's all you could ask for right now. And something I want to say about OpTic. Hook is in the bottom 2 in the league for hill time. Yet he's averaging an 0.98 in hardpoint. If you're not going to be on the hill, you better be getting kills, okay? You better be getting kills. And he's not really getting that much kills. You can see his Slayer ratings in these series, 81, 72, 92, against FaZe, which they lost 3-0, 85, 78. Not really convincing me wholeheartedly in the slaying department like he did last year. Last year, he didn't really touch the hill, but he was getting kills. And it really made the difference. This year, he's not on the hill, but he's not getting kills. And it's not good. He needs to pick it up, okay? He needs to pick it up. He needs to pick it up. And Shotzi, everyone's talking about how Shotzi should pick up an AR more. I just think, okay, there is a way around it, but I'm not trying to give OpTic any ideas. Okay, that's the last thing I'm trying to do, by the way. Last thing I'm trying to do is give OpTic ideas. But I don't think people understand, okay? I can understand from a logical standpoint, pick up the AR more. I think Hook, for me personally, should be the third AR. I think Shotzi's as true as an SMG as possible. But Hook can pick up the third AR for sure. If Hook wants to be the only SMG, I don't care. They could do whatever. It necessarily isn't much about that because, you could say from the perspective of if you're not running that third AR and you're just running the SMG all the time, you're just walking into pre-aims, that's really bad. But I think it also comes down to your team as well. And just more synergy, trying different shapes on the map. How you spread the map really helps out your SMGs. How you change the other team's shape really helps the SMGs. if you're not doing anything to help the SMGs in that sense, they're always going to play bad. I'm not even going to elaborate on that because I don't want to give them any ideas. Here I am with like an ego. Oh, I don't want to give them any ideas. Oh, I don't. Okay. But it's all about how everyone else is playing. Everyone dictates like the shape of how the other team plays. And SMGs could still thrive all depending on how everyone else is on the map. Obviously, there's still independent things they have to do. But the more pressure on the map and the sides that you play or like the spots on the map that you play, all that stuff can help SMGs. It's not just about, oh, they have 3 ARs, you're just sprinting into pre-aims. There's a lot more to it than that. But that is a logical assumption and conclusion because that is something that happens a lot. But I think teams need to think more outside the box, and there's actually ways around it while still having SMGs. I don't think the SMG is that bad. They're not playing on the new patch where it's like completely nerfed. They're playing on the old one. Like the SMG is not chalked, okay? And a BZ using an AR this whole series is not going to be sustainable. I'm going to stand by what I said for time and time again. A BZ on an AR is going to end up hard costing. Like he played good on it this series, but I promise you it's not going to last, okay? It's not going to last. Needs to be on that SMG, needs to be putting up pressure with Hydra, but it's hard to put up pressure when like the rest of your team's not really on a level of teamwork to where it actually is beneficial, because Hydra's like lost doing his own thing. Kenny's on the hill, most likely getting slammed, and Scrap is like wherever Scrap is. It's honestly just a mess, honestly. But I see glimpses of hope in LAT. I can see the potential. I see where they can actually be better because they do have glimpses of just being complete final bosses. Like you can see it sometimes in like a lot of their hard points, not necessarily talking about like for Overload or S&D. They still need to do drastic work on those game modes, by the way. But I do see glimpses in hardpoint where they could like 50-point club teams. I see glimpses of that, but it all goes away just solely based off freaking team dynamic and how you play, because you have to play that way for the whole 10 minutes. Okay, it's not just about playing that for glimpses. You need to play that the whole time. And right now they're 3-4 in hardpoint, they're 3-2 in S&D, and 3-2 in Overload. So they're not playing like super well, especially for a team that it probably has. This team is over $1 million salary, dude. For all 4 of these players, man, they gotta lock in, man. Gotta lock in. They just gotta. It's actually ridiculous. They actually have to lock in. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want to speak for too long. Everyone knows I could speak forever. Just gonna do slight predictions for the Friday matches. It's OpTic Texas versus Carolina, Koi against Paris. 2 great games for Friday. Like actually an exciting Friday, and probably the most exciting 2-day Friday that we're probably gonna have. OpTic against Carolina. Like, you know what? I'm going to think a little bit outside the box. I'm going to go Carolina, and I'm going to go Paris. I might be trolling on the Carolina one, but I don't care. I'm not doing any pick'ems or anything. I just, like, do predictions, like, for the majors and whenever I do them. So, I probably should start doing, like, some pick'ems, honestly. I really should. Yeah, I should start keeping track, honestly. I should start keeping track of all my pick'ems. So I'm going to lock them in, actually. So I'm going to do Paris for sure. Let me predict like the Carolina OpTic one real quick. Let me predict this real quick. So let me predict this. It all depends who picks Team A or Team B. I forgot how it's decided. Is it higher seed? If it's higher seed, I think OpTic's going to pick Team A, I think. Let me see. Hold on. I'm actually going to determine this live on stream. I'm sorry for the audio listeners. You're going to be seeing like a little bit of a, you're going to be a bit quiet, going to be a bit quiet here. So I want to see if OpTic picks Team A or Team B. That's what I want to see real quick. Because I think OpTic picks Team A. Because I think Team A gets the Overload ban, and I think OpTic want to ban Scar. If I had to take a guess. Okay. So OpTic does get the overload ban. Okay. So taking a guess, I'll even go on the last match Carolina played. They played against Kois. So this is like the most active map veto thing that they have. Okay. They're not going to ban that. Okay. So if I had to take a guess without even seeing the maps, holy cow. OpTic's going to ban Blackheart. Carolina's going to ban Exposure probably, even though Carolina's pretty good at that map. But Carolina's either going to ban Exposure or they're going to ban Den. And if I had to choose, they're probably going to ban Den and probably try their luck at Exposure. So you're probably going to get Exposure. Carolina will choose between Colossus and Scar. Colossus and Scar. They may pick Scar, but they might pick Colossus because OpTic doesn't play Colossus. So these hardpoints are interesting. These hardpoints are very interesting. We're going to get an Exposure and a Colossus or Scar. Exposure, Colossus, or Scar. I really want to see if like Carolina plays that map. Does Carolina play Colossus? They actually haven't played. They're 0-3 on it. Okay, they're probably going to pick Scar. Exposure and Scar hardpoint. Okay, Exposure and Scar hardpoint. Lock in. Exposure, Scar hardpoint. OpTic will probably ban. Their S&D vetoes. I should actually be an expert on this, to be honest. It's just hard when you don't have all the maps in front of you. I just need the maps in front of me, okay? I should actually keep the maps in front of me right here. Carolina's pretty good at Exposure S&D right now. They're pretty good at it. OpTic has not played it yet, so OpTic might ban Exposure. And then Carolina is probably going to ban, if I had to guess, maybe Scar, because that's the map OpTic's had reps on, but they also play Den. Actually, they might ban Den. Okay, let's say Carolina bans Den. They ban NS&D, OpTic bans Exposure. We're probably going to get a raid out of somebody. OpTic's probably going to pick raid. They love picking raid, which I don't think Carolina even has an issue playing, by the way. And I don't think Carolina would pick Scar because that would be dumb. So they're probably going to pick Colossus just to like throw like a monkey wrench in the thing if I had to pick. Because I think Carolina has played Colossus S&D. Have they played Colossus S&D? They have not played that map either. Okay, probably going to be Scar again. Okay. They just like do not play Scar at all. Unbelievable. They actually just don't play Scar. It's actually incredible. Or they just don't play Colossus. I'm not surprised or shocked by that, but it is interesting. It's very, very interesting. So I'm going to put Scar. So Scar, HP, and what was the last map? Exposure S, HP, and then we'll get Raid S&D and Scar S&D. Because they're going to ban Exposure, they're going to ban Den, and then OpTic's going to pick Raid, and they're not going to pick Colossus. Okay, so we're going to get that. And then OpTic's going to ban Overload. I think Carolina would probably pick Exposure over Den. So we're going to be getting Scar HP, Exposure HP, Raid S&D, Scar S&D, Exposure Overload. And this is interesting. The Raid and Scar S&D, I think OpTic could take this, honestly. I think OpTic could just take this. Yeah, actually, I'm probably going to go OpTic. OpTic and Paris. Lock it in. OpTic and Paris, lock it in. Okay? And that's the end of this episode of Borito Talk, okay? That's the end of this episode. I got a good episode with a guest coming, but I'm not going to upload that episode until after the major's over during like the 2-week break when everyone's playing ranked and everything. So expect that one. Plus like the post major show. This is the last weekend of matches before the major next week. Taking down the green wall. Phase 1 starts next weekend. Not this weekend, next weekend. The same weekend as the Royal Rumble. Can you imagine? I have to pick between the major and the Royal Rumble. Absolutely insane. They're on the same time too. Unbelievable. But it's happening. Follow the show on Spotify. Tell a friend, please. Really help me grow this podcast. I really appreciate it. It's completely free. If you enjoy it. If you don't like the podcast, but you still play it, it's kind of weird. But yeah, just don't recommend it to anyone if you don't like it. If you do like it, recommend it to somebody. recommend it to somebody who you think would like the podcast. Guys, this has been the number one CDL analyst, Burrito, and au revoir, goodbye. We'll see you next time. Peace.